The Lakers beat the Suns in an impressive win. The Lakers were tumbling, they were reeling, they were not doing well at all. Kuzma was out, LeBron was out, Schroeder was out. Playing against the second seeded Suns, it looked like the Lakers were on their way to lose another game before the game started. A lot of people gave the Lakers no hope. They thought Booker, they thought CP3 were going to get it done. But the Lakers show grit, show heart, show a lot of courage, get the win against the Suns to stay alive for the 6th seed. It still looks very likely that the Lakers are going to end up as the 7th seed and play against the Warriors, which would be a crazy matchup. The 7th seed Lakers against the 8th seeded Warriors. That would be amazing. But let's give the Lakers some credit. They played incredible yesterday. Anthony Davis had his best game of the season. I believe he finished with 42 points. First time he goes over 40 points this season. He was great since the beginning all the way to the end. Played great defense. He had, I believe, like 2 key blocks towards the end of the game. Just all around great play by AD. There's one play at the end of the game that really resonated with me when there was like a loose ball. Lakers were attacking. They were on the offense, and there was a loose ball. And CP3 and AD are the first ones to like locate the ball, and AD just throws himself at the ground, and that was not only did he throw himself at the ground and get the ball, he also had the awareness to call a timeout right away, so it wouldn't be a jump ball. Even though he probably would have beaten Chris Paul for it, who was the guy that was there, but still, super smart play by AD to keep the possession. Love the hustle. Love. That was a great play. That got me hyped up. That got me off of my seat. I was like, yeah, let's go, AD. Let's do it. Other than that, the Lakers, they started off hot. I think they started like 7-0, and then they led almost the whole game. The Suns did make a furious comeback. Like in the third quarter, fourth quarter, they brought it down to single digits, but the Lakers did just enough to hold on to the victory. The Lakers are still a game back from the Trailblazers, and they don't have the tiebreaker against the Trailblazers. So it looks like the Lakers are gonna finish in the 7th seed. This stretch of bad play has really hurt the Lakers. Even with this victory, they've only won 3 out of their last 10 games. So it does look like the Lakers are gonna finish in the 7th seed. And if that happens, if they beat the Warriors or whoever the 8th seed is, and keep that 7th seed, it does look like we would see a Lakers versus Suns first round playoff matchup. And honestly, as a Laker fan, I'm pretty sure there's other Laker fans. I've seen Laker fans on Twitter say that would not be the end of the world. Obviously, one of the downsides of playing in the play-in is that you don't get rest. All the other teams get like 4 or 5. I think some even get 6 days rest from when the season ends to when the regular playoffs start. Obviously, that would be great for the Lakers, especially with an older LeBron and some of the older players. But I think the Lakers would come out of the play-in, either the 7th seed or the 8th seed. I do believe they would come out. I don't see the Lakers losing 2 games to not make the playoffs. So if they do make the 7th seed, they play the Suns, and if they make the 8th seed, they play the Jazz, which they have been the best teams in the NBA. But I think when the playoff comes, I don't think they have the horses. I don't think they have the star players to get it done. So if I'm being honest, I would, as a Laker fan, or even as a neutral, like if I wasn't a Laker fan, if I was just one of these fans, like of the Warriors, Grizzlies, Spurs, or even the Pelicans, are still kind of alive. If I'm a fan of one of those teams, I would rather see the Jazz and the Suns than the Clippers in the playoffs. So the Clippers did just lose against the Knicks, and we'll touch on that in a little bit. But if I'm one of these teams that are going to be in the play-in scenario, I would rather see the Suns or the Jazz and make them prove it in the playoffs. I know the Clippers choked last year, and I know the Nuggets, they don't have Jamal Murray, but I would still rather see the Suns probably in the Jazz. So I think this was a big victory for the Lakers, not only because it keeps them alive. If they would have lost this game, it's almost done. They're in the play-in. Right now, with 4 games still left, there's still a possibility that the Trailblazers choke. They don't have that good of a defense. They've had some rough stretches too. They're on a 3-game winning streak, so I don't see them falling out of the 6th seed. But there is still a possibility that the Lakers are able to catch up to the Trailblazers and they finish at the 6th seed. and they get those 5 6 days, 4 to 6 days extra of rest. But if that's not the case, then I think this victory bodes well for the Lakers. I think we might look back at this victory and think, damn, this was a turning page for the Lakers. Like this is where we saw them kind of turn it around, and okay, after this is when they started playing as a team again. They started hustling for the ball again. Their defense got better. AD found his groove. He's been injured on and off the whole season. It's been frustrating to say the least. I think this might be the turning point. This might be the game that we look back at and we see, damn, the Lakers turned it around after beating the Suns, and now they have they have all the belief, they have all the momentum going into the playoffs. If a Suns Lakers playoff matchup does happen, I think the Lakers wouldn't be favored. Obviously, the Suns have had a great regular season, but I think the Lakers would not be intimidated. I don't think they would mind that matchup. And the Suns would have a home court advantage. This game was at Staples Center, but I still think the Lakers wouldn't really mind too much playing the Suns as long as everybody's healthy. I'm pretty sure Kuz could have played maybe yesterday, but I think right now the Lakers are just focusing on getting everyone healthy and ready for the playoffs. So overall, big victory by the Lakers. Biggest takeaway from this is AD had his best game all season. If AD is playing elite basketball, if LeBron comes back and he's playing LeBron type of basketball, the Lakers become an instant title contender. So it was nice to see AD get back in the groove, scoring over 40 points, being a menace on defense. Caruso was a menace on defense. There's a lot of hustle plays out there. The Suns, they've been doing pretty good. They came in like winning like 6 or 7 out of their last 10. So it was a good victory by the Lakers. End-to-end game. Like they led from the first quarter. I don't think they ever were behind. So good victory by the Lakers.